Welcome to the Golden Note podcast, everybody. My name is Jesse.
And I'm Karen Deep.
Today we are covering an album that just came out this year, 2025, and it's from an artist named Mac Miller. It's called Balloonerism, and this is going to be an interesting review. I feel like, because both Karen and I are big Mac Miller fans. We're gonna get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Just to get our biases out there. We're both big Mac fans. Big Mac. Well, I can't believe I just said that.
Nice. That's a little bit of a cheesy phrase.
Yeah. We're both huge fans of Mac Miller, and I think in reviewing this album for this podcast, Karen hadn't heard it yet. Mm-hmm. I had already listened to it. And so it's going to be interesting hearing Karen's thoughts about this as we go through it. But yeah, let's kind of dive into some of the background. So Mac Miller, in my opinion, legendary rapper.
I'd agree.
I really would put him in like my top 10 rappers of all time. Faces, his mixtape Faces is like one of my favorite mixtapes / projects of all time. I think it's just like a artistic genius, really. So yeah, when this first came out, I was very intrigued with it, and hearing that he recorded this around the same time as Faces.
Yeah. That's a very important point to make, that this is a post-humanist album, and seems like a bunch of scraps from around that time that maybe didn't make the cut or he's still working on. And so we want to kind of think about this record as partly of that time, but also partly as a reinvention of what that work was in today's time.
Yeah. What I heard about this album is he made this album as like a cohesive unit, and he pitched it to his label, and his label was like, nah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's like my understanding of it. I could be wrong, but I'm like pretty sure that's what the story is that he like gave this to his label, which I think was Rostrum Records at the time. It was like an independent label, but like he'd been on it for so long. And they were just like, this is too weird. Like there's they don't see any kind of like commercial viability in the project. So it was kind of just like Mac just shelved it, I guess, and kept moving forward. And I think that it was also around the time that he was about to sign to Warner, which was like a huge, I remember, I was in first year at the time, and like hearing like some of the hip hop news, he signed to Warner for like $10 million.
Yeah.
And then he released Good AM.
Right. And that record, he makes it very clear that he signed to Warner.
Yeah.
And got 10 million.
And got 10 mil. Yeah. That's also a great
too.
album that we got to hopefully review at some point. But
this the music that make white people mad. I love that track.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, another interesting, or something we need to talk about with this album is, since he shelved it, it's now been released, and of course, if you know Mac Miller, if you're a fan of Mac Miller, he tragically passed away in 2018 due to an accidental drug overdose.
Yeah, he was clean for a while, and then boom, gone.
Yeah, and I think it was his drugs were mixed with fentanyl, which is what happened. So tragic passing of Mac Miller in 2018. So this album was still shelved and unreleased when he died. So this came out this year. And the thing I want to say, so this is a posthumous release. Posthumous releases in general for me are very iffy. I really am not a big fan of them. What about you?
I'm still not sure how I feel about them.
Yeah.
I don't think I can develop an opinion, like a strong opinion about it, if I wasn't his friend. And at this point, I just feel like it's the decision of the people around him that have to be the voice of it, like to present it. So because I haven't, I guess, found out a collective presentation of like, here's all the people who worked on it, here are the people who made decisions around it, and why they released it. I can't speak to it if I didn't experience that, and I haven't like looked that up yet.
Yeah.
Or I'm aware of like that kind of cohesive declaration of why this exists. So I don't know how to feel about it. But from what I hear in the music and what I can hear in certain records that is like actually just Mac doing his thing, I can appreciate those moments and have an opinion about it. But overall, I don't know how I feel about the project itself from that point of view.
For sure. Very well said. And I would also just say, maybe this can help clear it up for you. This album in particular is a different type of posthumous release for me, right? I feel like posthumous releases can either be very tastefully done and done properly, where the album is mostly finished and the vision of the artist is there and it's done very respectfully and with a lot of intention. And then there's posthumous releases that are done because whoever owns the music and can financially benefit from the music just wants to put some scraps together and fill in many blanks and then release it to the public, right?
Yes. And I kind of feel like maybe this is more of that, in my opinion.
What, Balloonerism is more of the bad one?
Kind of.
So I was going to say Balloonerism is like very much like a good one, in my opinion.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Great.
So, and I'll contrast it with things like Juice WRLD. Like his posthumous releases in general have been pretty, like you know, I think there's one good posthumous release where it seemed like tracks were mostly finished and good, but then there's been more, and people are kind of like, okay, what's going on? Like and same with like XXX Tentacion.
Okay.
The rapper.
The guy who has all the tattoos on his face?
Yeah. He also passed away in 2018, tragically shot. But his estate that's like running, like in charge of his music, also has been has released albums posthumously that were like very much like half baked, like really, you know, not done, like not ready for release, right?
Yeah.
But with Balloonerism, knowing that it was an album or a project that was crafted and pitched to the label and it was done, and they just said no. And it was like an unreleased album that I think like hardcore fans knew about for years, but just like it was never officially released.
I read that a lot of his fans were advocating for this to be released because they knew about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, we want to hear this. We know this exists.
Yeah.
Let's just put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, that's what makes a difference, is that this is a completed thought from Mac Miller.
Right.
And it was originally intended for release at some point and then obviously shelved. And it feels like a lot of care and dedication went into releasing this properly.
I think you're right, and I think I would agree with that, but I think why I feel that way, where it's like kind of like patchwork or it's kind of like just not done right, is just because the Faces, the Mac who made Faces and the Mac who eventually met his, you know, like who he grew into in his later years is a very different person. And I felt it almost kind of like digging up a ghost of who he was during Faces, because that was a very dark time for him. And his music, the way he approached his music and the way he approached his perspectives were very different. And I think it's in a way, like I feel like it's a very troubled time for him at that time. So it feels strange for me to want to hear more of that.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like wrestling up old feathers. And I kind of feel uneasy about that.
Okay.
And then that's where I'm coming from with that, where it could be bad or it could be for financial gain. Where like if it was my decision, I'd be like, great, this was kind of a point of suffering that I don't think we need to share more. Like, let's just let it be.
Interesting.
Like I would have made a decision, or I would have advocated for that decision.
Okay.
There's definitely other forces involved, but I wouldn't want to share that, just from that perspective.
Okay.
But then again, I don't know him. I don't know anybody involved with his life, so who am I to say?
Yeah.
But that's where I would stand.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting perspective. I also take the view that like it kind of acts as a bit of a bridge, and like it kind of like fills in some blanks a little bit from Faces to Good AM.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
There is some blanks there. I remember feeling that way.
For sure. Like Good AM is a very different album. I mean, and it's still a very different album from Balloonerism too. And I guess we'll get more into this, but Balloonerism feels like part two or like a conclusion of Faces.
That's a good way to put it.
You know what I mean? Or like even a more optimistic, hopeful version of Faces.
Yeah.
It's kind of the vibe I get.
That is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I got the same vibe.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into the album cover and the album name.
Yes. So check this out. This
Very cool album cover.
This album cover is wild.
Yeah, it's very much like Picasso inspired, I feel like.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What strikes you the most about this drawing, this image?
Well, just how his face is, because clearly it's like it's supposed to be Mac Miller's face and head, but it's like, everything is just kind of turned around and it's disfigured a little bit,
Yeah.
And I'll keep coming back to this. There are so many parallels between Faces and Balloonerism. Once again, this is a face.
This is a face, yeah.
So, I mean, could be a very shallow observation, but there's so many things that I noticed in Balloonerism that I'm like, oh my gosh, faces. Like, this is like, they're very much connected.
I think the optimistic aspect of things is very interesting to see in the album cover.
Yeah.
As this is a very uplifting face.
There you go. Yeah. And it's a balloon going up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's interesting. I also like right under his chin there, what do you call that on a balloon? Just like the tie
nub?
of the
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. It's a very surreal album cover, and definitely something that I would look at in the album store if I didn't even know who Mac was, and I'd just be like, "What is this?"
Yeah, I would definitely.
Right?
It would definitely catch my eye.
Yeah. What else did I want to say? Okay. What about you? What are your thoughts on the cover in general?
It's nice. I think it's so interesting to see kind of the elements of the face being flipped around. Like one ear is upside down, one eye's turned over, the nose is upside down. Like it really evokes a feeling of disorientation.
Yeah.
That I think captures this era of Mac, but especially this record and a lot of the content and the way he crafted it. So it makes a lot of sense before and after listening to the album, I would say.
Okay.
Because I definitely saw this
Yeah.
before I listened to it.
Yeah.
And I thought, there's something there that it's expecting me to take on, and I definitely had those expectations met while listening to the album.
Yeah.
So it was very effective in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. What about the name?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of it. It's hard to say. Balloonerism.
I still don't know why
Mm.
it's called Balloonerism, because I feel like there's not really, I don't know. I didn't really hear anything in the lyrics.
Mac's got a big ego, inflated ego.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, maybe something like
He's
that.
just, I don't know.
Full of himself.
He's flying high. I don't know.
Oh, for
Balloonerism.
sure.
Yeah, like I don't know what it could be in reference to, but
Yeah.
it's a cool name. It's an ism. It's like, what is this ism that he's talking about,
Yeah,
right? What is this philosophy regarding balloons?
I should write a paper about it.
Yeah, you should. Okay, let's get into the music now.
Let's do it.
So off the bat, we have Tambourine Dream. It's literally just tambourine.
Mhm.
It's just a percussive intro track, about a minute long, I think.
Yeah.
And I guess it sets the tone for the album a little bit. It's kind of like a cool, I don't know. I think it's cool in the context of the album, right?
It makes me feel like Faces now has like a whole backstory and drama and characters, and the tambourine is a character in this whole story of Faces.
Okay.
I think the sound of the tambourine and him and Mac playing with the tambourine in the studio is so conducive to like this vibe and this era of
Yeah.
Mac.
Yeah. It's very hypnotic
Yeah.
too. Yeah. And yeah, I do think it sets the tone, because it's like this is a track on its own. It's an intro track, and it's just tambourine. Like this is like clearly Mac is not going for like pop appeal, as his record label so clearly understood, right? It's like this is like very much just for like he's just trying out cool ideas, and he wants this to be like a very artful experience and experimental.
It really is in contrast to Good AM, that you can kind of hear the production, the studio budget versus what he kind of wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to know that he could do both and really make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's cool to set the tone. And then DJ's chord organ featuring SZA.
Yes.
Who, this was recorded in like 2013. SZA was very much like, I guess, still on the come up, and in terms of being, you know, she's super famous now, but at the time she was very much still trying to make a name for herself. So, and it's really interesting to hear her on a track like this because she's such a pop R&B artist.
Yeah.
And this is like a very experimental track. So it's cool.
I thought she did a great job, and her performance was fantastic. I thought it was interesting to hear her perform on this one just because I only know SZA from like the earlier years of Today. So hearing an earlier version of what she was doing, it felt like listening to distant memories rather than listening to music.
Oh, wow.
Like I can feel like, oh, this is definitely not what this person is today.
Yeah.
Just got some sensibilities of that. So having that in the back of my head while listening to all of this was kind of disorienting, but very interesting in the same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I like how it starts out with the chords being called out. Like, that was cool.
Yeah. Great build up.
Yeah. Lots of vocal layers kind of one by one going on top of each other, and just like, what are we in for? Like, this is really cool. There's some synth in here. And then, Mac finally shows up at the end with and whoa-oh-ohs and stuff.
It's classic. And I think around the timestamp, it was around 4:20, and I'm like, perfect.
Yeah. So another track that is like, if you just throw this into like a daily playlist, it's going to be so out of whack with everything you'd put on that. Like, this is very much like not like, this is not a standalone track. You need to be listening to this as part of the full album, you know? So, yeah.
I think that's probably one distinctive element of a kind of like big budget Warner Bros. Studio production album, where every song could kind of act as a single, but they all work together, versus an experimental album like this one, where the songs are meant to be listened and integrated within the album experience.
Yeah.
And I think that just plays to the marketability of the songs on a record, where a studio production house would think a good record is something that you can, all those 12 tracks you can sell on their own and milk as much as possible, versus an experimental album like this is like the album is a thing. So there's one product versus 12.
Yeah.
And I think that plays a big role in how the musician, how the project is crafted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. One product instead of 12. I never thought about it like that before. Are you cool to move on to the next track?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you have a destination? I don't have too many notes about this one, other than it's just, this one is very much, I could see this being on Faces.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see it being on Faces. It's like a meditation. It's kind of like a call to himself. It's a lot of projection of his emotions. I found that at this point too, in the mix wise, everything was pretty bright. So like the high frequencies, the presence area, like 2K to 6K, was just really bright and grating.
Okay.
So I really had to like take some time off to listen to it on like different doses.
Yeah.
And I felt like his earlier stuff, so closer to present day, has all been a little bit brighter than it needs to be. And that has been taking away from my experience. But there's also just the trends of popular music is getting brighter and more lively. And I don't like that, because Faces was not bright.
Yeah.
It was very mellowed out and smooth, and it was very nice and kind of homey. But then this was mastered to be a little bit brighter to match the current days, and it just wasn't the vibe.
Yeah. No, there's a certain, I forget now what is in this song, but there's a certain vocal refrain that he does on this track that like is interesting, and I don't know if I'm as like a huge fan of it. But it does, it's weird because I feel like it works within the song, but it also makes the song a bit harder to listen to. I just forget what the vocal refrain is now, but this track is dense, and this album is dense in general. But this track is definitely one of the denser ones, where it's just like there's a lot going on, and it's not something that you can just put on in the background.
Yes. I would agree with that one.
Yeah. So like a vibey track that you can just like, you're playing basketball and you put this on, or you're like doing the dishes and you throw this on. It's like
you gotta sit down with this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. And then $5 pony rides. This one was cool. Thundercat is on the bass, apparently, on this track.
Great.
And I learned that after I listened to it, and I kind of put two and two together, because my first time listening to it, I was like, oh, the bass is very cool and like jazzy, and, you know, kind of stands out. And it's like, well, Thundercat is a very well-known bass player. So I don't know if you've heard of Thundercat. Like
have.
yeah, okay. So he's like awesome. So I was like, that makes sense.
Nobody move this blood on the floor. Yeah, can't get that out of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a great chord progression. It's very groovy. And I love that he brought the tambourine back. Like, yes, this is what we needed.
Yeah.
Got it in the intro. I'm like, where's the tambourine going to come in next? This is the track the tambourine came in.
There you go. Is the tambourine like the harmonica?
Just
Like how I'm the
You
no,
know?
I mean like how harmonica is from. I know what a tambourine is, Karen.
Yeah, I have to make sure.
I meant yeah. Sorry, I should phrase that better. You know how much I love harmonica.
I do.
Is your love for tambourine the same as my love for harmonica?
Not exactly.
Okay.
I think I definitely get excited about tambourine.
Yeah.
Because whenever I try to perform with it, I'm like, this is way too loud. It's clipping the microphone. How do I use this? And how do people use this?
Yeah.
But I like the tambourine in this context because Faces has tambourine and it's such a cool vibe.
Yeah. True.
He like messes with it in so many tracks that I think him starting off this record with Tambourine Dreams kind of just makes me think about that sound as well as the psychedelic nature of this collection. And so it feels like tambourine is now its own character. And
Yeah.
now that I recognize it as its own character, when I hear it in these records, in these songs, it has that much more impact.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's funny. I didn't really recognize the tambourine in this track, but I'm glad you caught it.
Yeah, it's subtle. It's subtle.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yeah. I did find the singing a bit messy, which is not a big fan. And like, I appreciate that Mac really does love to sing, and
But
I
it's
think
kinda trash at it though.
yeah, I think it was one of the like he's obviously amazing at rapping, but I feel like I heard an interview of him saying like I love to sing and it's definitely something that I want to get better at and like it's something that I care a lot about. But obviously he's the singing on this track, there's definitely certain Mac songs where he pulls it off and it's like this sounds good, and then there's certain songs where it's like okay, like
Yeah.
it's a bit of a, you can tell like he doesn't have that natural that ability to, or he just hasn't like really practiced his singing as much as his rapping, right?
Yeah, and it's not like I don't think it's his technical ability that bothers me. It's more like his melody sensibilities. There's certain notes where he like trails off on a melody, and it feels like why did you end it there when you could have ended it somewhere else? Like did you not want to end it on a different note, literally? And it seems like a natural music intuition that even the listeners know. Like oh, you should just sing a little higher on the last note, and everything would have been fine.
Right.
But it feels like he just trails off in certain parts and
Okay.
just leaves his idea not in the right spot. Whereas when he's rapping, he's very intentional for
Yeah.
everything that he does.
Yeah.
But I feel like if he was more intentional with his melody placement, despite his singing ability or the tone, whatever it is doing, it would make more sense and be more impactful overall.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I can definitely see that. I would also say, to give him credit, if we measure rappers on like a scale of their ability to craft a melodic course or just like a hook, I would put Mac on the higher end of that spectrum.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have Chance catch a bit of a stray here, Chance the Rapper, but like he's a rapper who like I love his rapping, and sometimes you can craft a good course, but it's like very few and far between. And that's one of my biggest complaints about Chance the Rapper is that his hooks are just like so. There's so much to be improved upon with like his ability to craft hooks.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Mac doesn't really have that problem as much, although he still has those issues where he could tweak certain melodies. But overall, I feel like when he goes after a hook, it usually pans out. It's just I don't know. For me, it's just his natural singing ability. Is just he needed to practice a bit more to pull it off. But I can appreciate his love for singing and his wanting to like showcase it more. I also what was I gonna, I just lost my train of thought. Let's continue.
Yeah. Friendly hallucinations.
This is the next one. Yeah.
This
oh wait,
should
sorry, no.
focus.
I remember what my thought
Okay,
was.
good,
Sorry.
great.
Pause.
Go ahead.
Going back to $5 pony rides, there's one more thing. At the end, he's kind of like, he says, "Can I give you what you want?" what you want, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like he's singing like that refrain.
Yeah.
And for me, it almost became like he's doing like a comedic impression of like a lounge singer or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was doing it to be fun and funny, but that's like how I interpret it.
I understand that vibe, and my take on that is I think he's trying to do it unintentionally.
Okay.
And that's why it's
Interesting.
funny.
Okay. Because, okay, another reason why I think he was doing it in a funny sense is because on another track, he opens the song, I think it's Funny Papers, which we'll get to that. I
We'll
love that
definitely
song.
get there.
But he opens that song with, no one taught you how to dance.
Yeah.
No one ever taught you how to
Right,
dance.
right.
So I'm
He's playing
like,
that
he was
character.
doing that. So maybe this is like this, he's playing like this loungy character, this like lounge singer character. or
That
something,
makes
you
a
know
lot of
what I mean?
sense when you tie it to that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. But it bothered me. I didn't like it. I didn't like his like, whoa, 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 can I give you what you want? Like, I don't know. It's just like, nah, sorry, Mac. Like, yeah. Okay. Anyways, I had to say that.
Yeah.
Next one, Friendly Hallucinations, as you were saying. Do you want to
Dude,
take it away?
This track, it just like, this is what Faces is all about. This is
Yeah.
what this whole thing is. It's just some crazy shit, like Max tripping in the studio and just laying down whatever comes to him. And
But the
I love
bar,
it.
like, crazy bars.
Crazy bars,
Yeah.
like insane. And like, this is like him on just like free flowing exploration of words and drugs. And it's like, this is talent, you know, this is art.
Yeah.
So I dig it.
Yeah, there's a couple lines in this that stood out to me. So one of them is fallen in love with her destination. And that's like reminding me of the song, Do You Have a Destination? Right. And just kind of like, I guess he's making reference to like, it's all about the journey and not about the destination. Right. So I thought that was cool. But the one that really stood out was there's help in that medicine cabinet. And yeah, that's kind of just like scratching at the surface of some of the lines in this album that are extremely haunting.
Yeah.
And just based on like what happened with his death, there's just a lot in here that for like a huge Mac Miller fan, when you listen to this album, it's like it can be a tough listen,
Yeah.
right? So
Was this the record that he said there's like a trip waiting in the drawer or something? Like there's a vacation waiting in the drawer, or a vacation waiting in the
I don't recognize that line.
pill. I'll have to think
No.
about it. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's just a lot of haunting lines. The more tracks we come into this album, it's like you start hearing certain lines, and it's similar to Faces 2, where it's just like, and even a couple tracks off of Good AM where he's just kind of like talking about his drug use and how he knows it's dangerous and bad, but he still does it anyways. And there's just like and on this album, he talks a lot about death. So it's once again just bringing up those haunting feelings.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this Friendly Hallucinations is kind of like the start of those the lines that like really hit hard. Is there anything else you wanted to say about
No, that's-
Friendly
that's all.
Hallucinations?
Yeah.
Is this song about a woman who is like convincing herself of like something, and it's like kind of toxic, but it's kind of like her descent into like convincing herself that like everything's good, and she's falling in love with her hallucinations, if I remember correctly,
I think so. Let me.
which is like a very
Is that what a child? Vampires. It's a baby.
there's a lot
There
going
it
on
is.
lyrically with this song, but yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that was like part of the message, my interpretation of it. But
Yeah,
okay,
she's falling for her hallucinations. What's love without imagination?
yeah, what's love without imagination?
Don't let them tell you what's real and what's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dark. It's
Yeah.
dark.
There's a lot of existentialism on this album, and a lot of like relativity, like moral relativity, where it's like there's no truth. It's whatever you want to believe in. Kind
There's a lot of
thing.
that,
Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Mrs. Deborah Downer. So before reviewing this album for this episode, I listened to this like months ago when it first came out, and this was one of the songs that I saved immediately. It's like the first listen, I was like, this is amazing.
Nice.
This still might be my favorite track. The bars are just undeniable. And it's very much Faces. It reminds me of Faces as well.
Yeah.
So do you want to speak on it?
I only have a few comments.
Okay. So this one didn't stand out to you as much. Because okay,
No.
so because you remember you said Faces is much more of like a how did you describe it? Like the sound of it is more
Like-
mellow and also like
More mellow.
not downtrodden. I don't know, just like a bit
Very
more
existential. I would say.
existential. There's more negative vibes I feel like going
A lot
on
of
in
drugs.
Faces.
A lot of tripping. A lot
Yeah.
of like psychedelic kind of stuff going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this track reminded me of that. It's just very much like we're kind of in a bit of more of a depressing state. There's the bars, man. So I'll highlight some of them.
Please.
All roads lead to the same confusion. I mean, all roads lead to the same conclusion.
Nice.
Banger. I love that one.
Yeah.
The devil always be right where the money is. Another awesome line. Original sin, we all come from the same struggle. Phew. Okay, this one though, like I still hear this particular line and it like makes me feel emotional. Where he says, "I cleaned myself up. Now would you be my friend?" And it's just like,
It's like, wow. Did you though?
but it's such a commentary on like the idea that like, oh, I have to stop being this person's friend or I have to stop hanging out with them because they're struggling with addiction. And like, I'm not going to associate with them until they clean themselves up. And like, I guess that's kind of seen as like a healthy way to like deal with someone who's going through addiction issues, kind of like giving them an ultimatum. But at the same time, this is kind of like another viewpoint of like, no one wants to be my friend until like, hey, I've cleaned myself up now.
Yeah.
Now are you going to care for me and like be a friend? And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It just like hits really hard.
Points to the slippery slope of addiction because it's that in and out of, okay, great, my friends are leaving me because I'm doing all these drugs. I'm going to clean up so then they can be my friend. Okay, now they're my friend again, but are they really my friend if they don't let me do my drugs? And am I the one pushing them away or are they the ones pulling themselves away? And it just becomes this horrible disorientation of just ebb and flow, in and out, push and pull all the time. But then when you look back at it as the addict, the only consistency is you and your drugs. And so it's so much easier for you to fall back into those habits, despite all this commentary, despite wanting or not wanting, or seeing, trading addiction or trading the drugs for friendship, and then realizing that friendship might not be what you need. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess, but it points to that a lot, and it's very haunting for sure because anybody who's a fan of Mac Miller kind of have seen and know is aware of that kind of ebb and flow that he lived through with his drug use and the way he talked about it and the way he kind of went through or tried to rationalize all of his decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot packed into that one line. That's just like, yeah, it's a lot to handle. Tough to hear. So, okay, I yapped about that song for a while. What were your overall thoughts on this one?
Heavy Faces vibe.
Yeah.
Very existential. I love the bass line.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the bass line is slaps for sure. Yeah.
It's great. It was hard. It didn't stand out to me because I think at this point, I didn't want to live in that space, because Friendly Hallucinations was kind of like that, and I felt like I wanted to step away from that.
Okay.
Because not only was Mac at a hard time during Faces, but when I listened to Faces, I was also in a bad time, and so I was like, okay, great. I identify with this too much. I think I want to gloss over this.
All right.
So I was in a way subconsciously not listening too closely to this track when this came about for my own sanity.
Okay, gotcha. Musically speaking, I feel like Mrs. Deborah Downer is more, it's more structured and more put together than Friendly Hallucinations.
Yeah.
For me, Friendly Hallucinations was like very chaotic, or like just there's less to like grab onto, but like Mrs. Deborah Downer, the bass line, the drums were just so clean and like, just like hitting really hard. And Mac is just like very consistently rapping throughout this one. So that's what appealed to me about it. But yeah, I feel like we spent a lot of time on this track. We can keep going. To me, it's a big highlight, but I totally understand your perspective. Yeah. Let's talk about Stoned.
Yes, I noticed. First thing I noticed about this record was on Spotify, this was the track that had the most plays. And
interesting.
I was thinking to myself, like, well, why? And so when I got there, I just found the guitar riff kind of annoying. I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed some of the other tracks. So
Okay.
that's basically all I had to say about it.
That's funny because I put fun twangy guitar riff in the chorus.
It was like too fun for me, I guess.
That's so funny. Yeah, well, I also like some repetition in my songs for sure.
Yes,
I like that grounding of it. But interesting. I also was like, this is another Faces type song. I like the panning and the background vocals as well on this track.
Yeah.
And I also found it pretty hooky, surprisingly hooky for how melancholic it is.
Yeah.
Like it's very, very sad sounding, like depressing track, but it is like quite hooky. So overall, I liked it. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
And it's interesting that it's the most played song from this album. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I noticed at least.
Okay. On Spotify?
I think maybe one reason why I've heard to answer that question or try to answer that question is that when somebody sees a song called Stoned, that's relatable. Let's click on that one.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like
I'm
in the middle
stoned
of the
right now.
record.
Let's listen to this stuff.
yeah. This was meant for me.
Yeah.
So I understand that much.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then Shangri-La.
Yes.
Shangri-La, which is a hotel chain.
It is. Yeah.
But it's also apparently, it's the name of Rick Rubin's studio house
okay.
or something.
Yeah.
And so at the beginning of the song, Mac Miller's like going to Shangri-La, and he's going there with like his girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And then he has a line where he's like, what is it? He talks about, he's like, oh, I forget now, but it's just sort of like a funny play on words, and his girlfriend is thinking Louis Saint Laurent, but he's thinking like something more meditative and something
I
less.
was thinking Lamb of God. She was thinking Saint Laurent.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like in relation. It's in relation to going to Shangri-La. But anyways, I like this one. There's some funny lines. I wish my drug dealer took Amex. Stood out to me.
You
because
resonate with that?
I'm an Amex guy.
This guy's always trying to like, I wonder if they take Amex. And then whenever they don't, we just make fun of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, that's kind of funny. And it's just like, it's in the midst of this, once again, a very melancholic vibe where he's just like, he has like a couple funny lines
Yeah.
throughout. So it's kind of just like very much chef's kiss.
Yeah. I
it's
wish
like-
my drug dealer took Amex. Can't find my debit card.
Yeah. Okay.
I told her, meet me by the annex. We can get high by the reservoir.
Yeah.
It's like, dang. All right.
Yeah. Right. But once again, this is like a line. He talks about his debit card in Faces on the song Friends. He's like, snowflakes keep falling on my expired debit cards.
Yeah.
And so I heard it on this track. I'm like, debit card. Why is he talking about debit
And
cards?
like, why
again?
can't he find it? Probably still on the table with all the snowflakes on there.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Right. So I'm sitting here listening to that line, and I'm just like, is there a deeper meaning to like debit card? Like, is there some like thematic like tie-in? So I don't know.
It's like, nah, just how else are you supposed to cut those lines?
Maybe he just like, he just likes rapping about debit cards and stuff. So anyways, another little connection to Faces there. Overall, I like this track, but I don't know if it's like a standout for me. Did you have anything else you wanted to say? No? We move on to what I think is not only the best song on this album, but could be like top 5 all-time Mac Miller songs.
I would agree. I had to listen to this one a few times when I came across it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I replayed it.
Yeah,
many times.
same. This might be the song that like I feel like encapsulates Mac Miller, at least in this era of his writing and music. It really encapsulates him fully as an artist. You know, it's got like, it's beautiful. It's such a standout track. Lyrically, he's like very much he's rapping very well. So it's like someone for listening to Mac Miller for the first time, if they listen to this song, they'd be like, oh, he's a really good rapper. This is also a beautiful song. And it's like, you know, kind of philosophical. And yeah, I just think if there's a song to represent Mac Miller to the highest degree, this might be in the running for sure.
Yeah. The only thing that I would knock a point off is the ending felt a little unstructured, or like the ending didn't feel as intentional. And I wonder if that was something like the studio, if they even got to this track, was like, you know what, there's probably not enough polish.
Gotcha.
So to me, that was a moment where I'm like, this could have been a little bit more polished.
Okay. So my counterpoint to that would be this also, so like first time listener, if they're listening to the song, they get all these elements, but then at the end, they get that experimental vibe that Mac also was very much in tune with throughout his career.
That's a good take.
You know,
Yeah.
so
The
but
thing-
yeah, I understand what you mean. Like the ending definitely kind of it doesn't end on like a super. It doesn't sound super intentional. Yeah,
Like I imagine like if there was a little bit more time to work on this track, and I was in the studio with him, I would have advocated for a little bit of a more tying bow
Yeah.
ending, just to
Yeah.
like make sure to
Stick
take
the
care of
landing.
it. Stick to landing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think what stood out to me, and as far as experimental stuff goes that Mac does in this era, is that throughout Faces, he has a lot of samples of dialogue from movies and this and that.
Yeah.
And that was incredibly inspiring to me overall. I
Yeah.
still like that's a practice I do in my
the
music.
Bill Murray.
It just doesn't
Matter. Yeah. Oh, my
man.
gosh.
That-
We'll talk about that when we review this
Yeah,
that
yeah.
album.
Dude, that's gonna be a crazy video. Stay tuned for that one.
Yeah.
But hearing Mac put on the character and do that himself on this record was something I never thought he would have
Taught you how
wanted to do.
dance. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to me, that's a great way to say encapsulates kind of like him as an artist, because him willing to put his voice onto the record in this way was something I never thought he would be willing to do.
Mhm.
He always has little anecdotes and says little things, but I never thought he would open up his record or a song with him doing this. So that was like really special to me.
Yeah.
On this record.
Agreed. Yeah. Also, the opening lyrics remind me of "A Day in the Life" by the Beatles.
Oh.
Right, because he's talking about this guy who's goes into a car crash, and just like the whole vibes of like, oh, he says like, I saw the news today about this guy who got in a car crash, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a day in the life. I saw the news today, oh boy, about a lucky man who made the grave,
yes,
right? So
yes.
it's giving me like "A Day in the Life" by the Beatles vibes, which is a classic Beatles song.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Mac was like, he appreciated the Beatles. So I wonder if that was like a reference or like just a heavy inspiration from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, lyrically, he just paints such a vivid picture. And Funny Papers is like a nickname about just like the news and newspapers, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of, to me, it's like almost like a kind of funny existential way. Just like the news is funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's just ridiculous. The news is funny. Those are the funny papers.
It really points to like where his mindset is or was about life and death, and it's kind of plays with your expectations of what funny really means.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of dark edges to it
Yeah, for sure.
that I think the song kind of encapsulates the beauty and the darkness of
Yes.
what he's talking about.
100%, because first verse he's talking about the death of this guy who's like really sad from a recent divorce, and he's like blasting his wedding song or whatever, and then he dies, and the wedding song is still playing after the car crashes or whatever, and it's like everything's quiet but the music.
Yes.
And it's just like that, just the picture that he paints lyrically with that, I'm just like, wow. And then the second verse, though, is a much more hopeful thing, where he's talking about the birth of a baby.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just like the contrast between such a negative news story and then a positive news story. Funny Papers,
Funny Papers.
right?
Hands down my favorite song on the record, and
Yeah.
probably definitely top of Max.
Yeah. And then he ends the song with "Why does it matter at all? Why does anything matter at all?" Which is like the existential. For me, that's the ribbon on the
Fair. Yeah.
on the gift or whatever that this song is. There you go. Yeah. So overall, highly, highly, highly recommend this track for sure. Definitely, in my opinion, top 5, top 10 Mac Miller track. And if you want to say it's the best track he's ever made, I don't know if I'd argue with you. Like, I think, as I said, it's just such a great encapsulating song of who Mac
Yeah.
was as an artist.
I would stick my two favorite tracks of Faces. I'm going to give it away now. Is Wedding and Funeral.
Yeah,
I-
Wedding is so good. Yeah.
If I throw
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one right in the middle of it, what a trifecta.
Ooh, okay,
That's
wow,
crazy.
that's gonna be my homework now. Is I'm gonna just listen to those three tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say about this song, and it's kind of like a fun little thing. He says, "Put 20 on midnight," which
What's
is
that?
a reference. Again, I was like, that's a lyric from Faces.
Yes, it is.
He talks about like putting, let's go put 20 on a midnight. What song is that?
it
Oh,
Angel
again
Dust?
from Friends. That's from the
Oh,
song
it's on Friends.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
For anyone wondering, by the way, what that means, because I was curious, because it's about gambling.
That's what I was
and I've been
curious.
known to enjoy the casino every once in a while.
This guy.
Apparently, it's craps, where you like roll the dice, you throw the dice, and rolling a midnight is rolling 12.
Okay.
And so,
It's
and
two
it's like
sixes.
rolling a 12 is like a tough number to roll to like hit. So, anyways, I don't know, it's a fun
Nice.
little thing related to Faces. Once again, connection to that album. Okay, do you want to go to this next
Let's-
one?
let's continue, yeah.
Excelsior.
Come on. He says it in the record.
Oh yeah, sorry. What is it?
Excelsior.
Excelsior. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, again, so going from Funny Papers and then to this song, I was like on my break at work listening to this, and I was getting emotional.
Okay. Okay.
I was like, wow. Like, so this is a song about, in my opinion, about the preciousness of childhood and innocence. I don't know what your thoughts on it were.
I got one word. Trash.
Oh,
You didn't see that one coming, did
no,
you?
I didn't. Okay, hold on. Let me put. Okay, fine. Let me yap for a second, and then you can talk. You can crap all over it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's about the preciousness of childhood and experience. It starts with the kids on what seems to be like a playground, and they're having fun, and it's like, you know, they're having a great time, and there's like such a nostalgic vibe to this for me.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
agree.
in general. And I missed it on my first listen a few months ago, but coming back to this album, I'm so glad that I've been able to like uncover it. But it's also haunting to me because so much of Mac's music is about about losing childhood innocence. And like, I just wish I could go back to being a kid. Things are so much better when I was younger. Even when he was a kid, like 18, and he was rapping, he has a line where he goes, I think it's off of Kids. He literally has an album called Kids,
Yeah.
right? It's an acronym for kicking incredibly dope shit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But like clearly, again, it's like a reference to like just like having a great time as like being a teenager, right? And he has a line when he was rapping back then where he's like, being young is so fun, I don't ever want to age. That's what he says in that on like that earlier mixtape. So now he's like getting older. He's recording Faces. He's recording Balloonerism, and he's kind of like, I don't know. He's losing that childhood innocence, and you can hear it in the music, right?
Right,
You can hear him go through this like existential breakdown almost and of course fueled by like his drug addiction.
Yeah.
So for me, this song is like, oh my gosh, once again, this is like the biggest statement from him on like loss of innocence and like just beckoning for being a kid again and having that like the glow of just being a kid and youth. But yeah, talk about how trash this song is.
So I'm really happy that you laid all that out. I think like musically, the flow, the instrumental just didn't like sit well with me.
Okay.
It wasn't really enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was a different vibe than some of the other stuff I heard on Faces, kind of like that lazy, drug-induced kind of vibe. But the subject matter really just was too much for me.
Okay.
Like I think I reached a little bit of a limit of how much darkness and edginess I could
Okay,
take.
yeah.
And I think you laying all that out about the loss of childhood innocence, I think that's where my line is.
Yeah.
That's where I get emotional and sensitive, and I'm like, I don't know if I feel comfortable enough to actually sit through and listen to this.
Okay. Wow.
So I think that's a topic that I think I feel the most pain in when it comes to Mac, and I think you touch on it very well.
Yeah.
And that it just saddens me a lot. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to listen to this.
Okay.
So-
Were you able to listen to it all the way through? Did you have to skip?
I was, but I had to like take a moment to pause and be like, okay,
Yeah.
let me go back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a testament to his ability to do that, right? With like my buddy who introduced me to Mac in high school, he's like, yeah, he's a huge Mac fan as well. But I remember a few years ago, I was like, hey man, we should listen to this song. And he was like, no, I like don't play it. I can't like, and he used to listen to it, and he's like, that's such a special song to me that like I'm afraid to listen to it, and the next time I listen to it, I have to like sit down and like do it because so he's like, don't play it.
Wow.
I was like, that's like, again, just testament to the emotions and his artistry, really. Yeah. And it's, I don't know, I feel like people listening to us are like, these guys are so like, they're just so like, they're just the biggest Mac Miller fans of all time. And like, he wasn't that good. And it's like, if you only listen to his early stuff, I can understand why you think that, right? Like his persona at the beginning was so like, I'm just like a frat boy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who likes to smoke weed. That was like his persona. But after, like, in the middle of his career, he really got away from that stuff, you know, and it really, really blossomed as an artist. And it's just, yeah.
It's very interesting too, because on this podcast, most of the records that we review aren't stuff that we're like complete huge fans of.
Yeah, true.
And now that we're both here connecting with it in such a maybe more personal level, our perception of it is definitely going to be different than anybody else. But I imagine the records that we review that other people are personal fans of.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where we get all the hate from.
Yeah.
Like, this makes a lot of sense. Because maybe you're taking it as personally as we are, but you're taking our words as personally as we're taking the music as personally as this is.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see the impact, but I think what makes the difference is when we not only see the impact within ourselves, but also with the people around us who have shared that music with us. It feels undeniable that there is an impact of Mac's music. And I hope that whatever music you're a fan of, the audience is, and the people that have shared that music with you, or the people you share that music with, that the impact and the meaning of that music is shared with your communities, because I think that's what a big part of all of this is about. And if this is the big reason of why this practice of not only listening to music, sharing music, but now also talking about it or critiquing it, just points to the significance of music in communities and the humanity that each artist is capable of capturing. And I think what Mac has captured in his music is a story of personal suffering as much as it resonates with other people's suffering in some of the most nuanced and creative ways that only he could have done, that speaks to so many people in such a variety of ways. And he has transformed so quickly from his teenage self to like, I'm only 27 now.
Yeah.
I'm older than when he was.
Yeah.
And I've done nothing with my life compared to Mac. But he has touched on a sense of humanity.
You've done lots of great things.
Thank you.
You have.
Well, it's just
but I understand what you're saying, right? Like, it's so unfathomable that he was 26 when he died, but it felt like he was like
lived a whole life.
He lived a whole career already. Like, he was like the albums that he was releasing were kind of, they almost felt like end of career type, like, masterpiece albums.
And they kept on coming.
26, and they kept on coming. And and it's so tragic to think, if he had kept going, like if he had been able to live longer, like, what other amazing albums, you know? It's just like, obviously that's what you think about when you hear about your favorite musician dying so young, right? But he really was like releasing some like absolutely amazing albums right before he passed away. And yeah, as you were saying, it's crazy to think that he was 26. Yeah. When he died. So sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's great. Yeah, that's a great place to end that little side piece.
Yeah. No, everything you said, I 100% agree with, and yeah, very well said.
Yeah.
Len, we're only halfway, I think, through this album. Still, or like, we're getting to the lower half, but we still got a lot of tracks.
Yeah. We should wrap it up soon, but let's see what's going on.
So next one is Transformations, featuring Delusional Thomas. For those of you who don't know, that's like a character of Mac.
Yeah.
I don't know much about this character because, might shock you. I'm not like, I wouldn't call myself like in the top 1% Mac fans. Like, there's definitely fans of his who are like way more hardcore than me. So they might be able to explain Delusional Thomas a bit more. All I know, it was just like an alter ego or a separate character. And he released mixtapes under the moniker of Delusional Thomas.
Yeah. I also know his producer alter ego was Larry Fisherman.
Okay, yeah.
That's just all Mac. But if you see the credits, Larry Fisherman, that's just Malcolm McCormick.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This one was cool. I feel like this is another track that is like straight out of Faces.
Yeah.
Like, it would have worked really well on that mixtape. And then the line where he says, "I'm Young Jehovah." I'm just like, that's so awesome.
Yeah. I didn't have much to say about this one. It was kind of a pass for me, just because I'm not a huge fan of the Delusional Thomas sound. You know, it alters his voice. There's lots of like effects going on, and it just gets a little bit too wishy-washy for me.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't a standout, but can appreciate it still. Next one is Mannequins.
Yes.
This one definitely struck me, especially the second time around. The first time around, I guess I didn't really wasn't a highlight for me, but this time around I was like some of the bars stood out, so I'm gonna yap a bit more here. God is like the school bell. He gonna tell you when your time is up. Haunting line,
Yeah.
right? So why is heroism so close to heroin?
Oh, that one caught me too.
Good AM thing, right? Because on one of his main singles from Good AM, he talks about, he has a wordplay with that line as well, with heroin and heroism.
Yeah.
So interesting. Nobody can hurt me if I go inside and close the door. Gave me Faces vibes, because I think he has a couple lines related to like just staying inside, being inside, and so that was again like another connection. I was like, oh my gosh. You wear the garments every day. You wear the garments everybody needs to dress some mannequins.
Yeah.
So that one was also like, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great observations.
Yeah. Okay, I yapped a little bit. You want to say something about this track?
One was just like, this one fucked me up.
Yeah.
This one,
Yeah.
Bleep, bleep, bleep me up. Because it was just, it got me, those lines just kept on like jabbing at like death. And him being so aware of it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, dang, I guess he knew this was coming the whole time, in a way, but when
exactly.
would have come? Like,
I'm not scared of growing old and dying, is what he said, as another line from the song.
Yeah.
I don't know, I didn't write the rest of it, but he says something like, I'm not scared of growing old and dying. That's where like the truth is, or something, or that's where, what's the line exactly?
Let's see.
I think it's towards the end. But yeah, he said something like that, and it's just, again, so haunting, because he obviously, like, he doesn't get the chance to grow old and discover the truth. Or
I'm not scared of growing old and dying. Feel this where the answer lives.
This is where the answer lives.
This is where the answer lives. Yeah.
So yeah, Mannequins, very tough listen in terms of just like those haunting lines and the foreshadowing of his death, right? So yeah, it was a tough one for sure. I can understand why it got you feeling that way. It got me feeling that way too, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is Rick's Piano. Another highlight for me that like immediately when I first heard it, I saved it and was like, I'm gonna come back to this. The piano lines are beautiful and kind of, I keep saying the word haunting. I need a synonym, but just like just hits hard.
Yeah.
There's a fun intro with Mac talking to his friend in the studio, making jokes and stuff. So
a lot of fun.
Yeah. E.T.'s not dead. He's just a little bit faded.
That line it was like, this is a Faces record.
Yeah, this again, like,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. What else did he say? Because people start to get worse once they think they're the greatest.
Yes.
I love that line
Yes.
too, because it's so ironic and contradictory, because on Faces, another connection to Faces, he literally has multiple songs where he's like, I'm the mother effing greatest.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know that yet. You know what I mean? I'm the hardest working person in the universe. Like he says
a lot of shit like that.
So it's just really funny that he's now like countering that with like, please don't tell me I'm the greatest, because that's when people start to go downhill, right? So I thought I loved that though. I thought it was so funny that he was mentioning that.
I wonder if a dead father ever hear his daughter scream.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. That one.
What does death feel like? And he says that a lot at the end.
What does death feel like? Yeah, that was like one of his hooks in the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love the best. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
So good. So good.
And it's layered too with him, like you. So it's like the melody's there, but then there's a layer of him just like saying that line with not in a melodic sense, and it just like, I don't know, something about the way he does that, just like
background vocal thing that he does.
Yeah.
There's a certain vibe that's been pretty consistent over the records that he's published, but then the stuff that he does on this song is just slightly different. It's like, wow, he's always playing with that.
Yeah,
and it always hits.
Yeah. So yeah, that I love this one.
Yeah.
What's a man got to do for a little bliss?
Yeah.
Just like every song, there's just like something that is just like hits you, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Like, and he lived through it, right? So it's like this is stuff that he has gone through, that he's going through, and he's just basically commenting on his experience, right? That's what a lot of artists do. A lot of artists should be doing, and it's just kind of sad to know that this is what his experience was.
Yeah.
Because it's heavy.
Yeah, very heavy.
Yeah.
And then the outro guitar, I really liked with kind of like a tremolo effect on it.
Yeah.
It's like nice touch. So yeah, another highlight off this album. But like we keep saying, it's like it's heavy. So
It's heavy.
it's not an album that you could put on in the background. You know, like you're gonna have to pay attention to it because it's a lot.
Yeah.
And then we're on to our. And did you want to say anything else about
No,
Rick's
no.
piano? No. I mean, obviously legendary that it's Rick Rubin's piano too, right? Like,
I think it's funny that he made the track Rick's Piano.
yeah.
It's like,
That's
yeah,
just
this
the
guy
name of
is
it.
piano.
Yeah. Tomorrow We'll Never Know.
Yeah.
Last track, 12-minute song.
I skipped it at this point.
You didn't listen to it?
I didn't listen to all of it.
Okay.
It was like vibey. I was
Yeah,
like, great.
that's fair. That's fair.
Let's let it ride if you want it. Let it ride, but I didn't want to let it ride. Yeah.
It was definitely a bit of a chore to. I very much forced myself to like. I need to listen to every second of it, and kind of put myself through it. Right off the bat, though, with the title, I'm getting Beatles vibes again.
Okay.
Because on Revolver, the last track on Revolver is Tomorrow Never Knows. And that is a very like experimental Beatles track, and is kind of the Beatles song that kicked off their like, it's like one of the first like psychedelic songs ever made is Tomorrow Never Knows.
Wow.
And it's got the sitar on it, I think, on that song. So anyways, I was like, oh, another Beatles reference. Tomorrow We'll Never Know. So again, it starts off with the audio of kids playing on a playground. The symbolism under the lyrics, in my opinion, were really rich, where he's like standing on a frozen lake and he's looking at his reflection. And I don't know, you can think about like the unconscious mind and things that are going on underneath the surface of the ice.
Yeah.
Look at me go here with the symbolism. Grade 11 English taught me this, how to interpret poetry.
Look at you go. You're a well-rounded human being now.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. Things you learned in school can come back to
Stay in school,
to help you.
kids.
Stay in school, yeah. And then there's one part where your call has been forwarded to an automated beep, and then like goes off like that.
Yeah,
And
I heard that part.
I love the symbolism with that, where it's just like, to me, I interpreted it as like you're trying to reach help or you're trying to reach God, and you're just constantly getting the voicemail.
Yeah.
There's no way to reach it.
That's definitely another haunting experience.
Yeah.
Depending on what kind of call you're trying to make.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then do they dream just like we do? Again, I connected it to like, is he talking about like some sort of higher power? Like, do they dream like us kind of thing? So yeah, for me, very cool song. But as you mentioned, it's a tough listen, not only because it's haunting, but it's like 5 minutes at the end of just like straight up instrumental.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
If you're in it, if you're in the vibe, you're in the mindset, it's a great way to end the record. But I wanted to like grab lunch, so I went to go eat lunch.
Yeah, fair enough. So I guess that concludes our long-winded, but
it is much needed.
kind of cathartic review of Balloonerism by Mac Miller. Let's rate it.
3.5.
3.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Take us through that a little bit, just to summarize.
There's some duds. There's some skips. If I were to listen to it again, I would probably make some skips. The high end of the mastering was a little bit too much grading, so like physically not an enjoyable experience. There's some stuff there that was just like too much for me, so it's more of a personal thing. And if I heard this, like if this came out at the same time Faces came out, I would still take Faces over this. But then the Funny Paper song might get me coming back, so it's a tricky situation in that point. But I think there's more stuff I'd enjoy in Faces compared to Balloonerism, so 3.5 is what I'd give Balloonerism.
Okay.
Yeah.
This album's so interesting for me because my first listen a few months ago, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I still liked it a lot. And then my second listen to it, preparing for this, I discovered tracks that I was like, I really like this. This is really great. And forcing myself to really dig deeper and like really pay attention, I found a lot of gems, and I really appreciated it more. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm not giving it a 5 is there are 1 or 2 songs where it's a bit tough to listen to, not even because it's emotional, but because it's just like there's certain stylistic choices that I wasn't like the biggest fan of. And then also to get to a 5 for me, I feel like it just needs to have the artistic element, but also the accessibility element. And I feel like it is so experimental to the point where it's not as accessible for some people. So it's not a perfect score, but I still really, really think this is an absolutely fantastic piece of work. True artistry, which I think Mac was going for.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4.5, and I think that brings us to an 8.
Yeah, an 8.
Yeah,
Look at that.
8 out of 10 for Balloonerism by Mac Miller. Thanks for sticking around so long to the end to listen to this, and let us know what you think of our review and of the album itself. And please, please subscribe. I feel like I made a weird sound there. Please subscribe if you want to hear more.
Your voice is a weird sound, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. And leave a like and comment.
Yes, thank you very much. Any Mac Miller fans out there, let us know what you think in particular, because we want to know what the other fans in particular, what their feelings are, their experience about this whole journey, because it seems like it resonates in our communities, but we're curious about your communities of what you guys think about Mac and has seen his career and understand how his career has traversed your life as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Have a great day.